Defense Deoxys going to go for the classic Psycho Boost and Dip tactic. We force an early shield advantage. We pivot into Steelix when we're met with Alolan Sandslash. Usually this isn't the best matchup, but we now have shield advantage. The opponent fires off the drill run, we withstand the damage. And in case you're wondering what moveset you should run on Steelix, most certainly you want that Earthquake nuke. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have the absolute pleasure of shoutcasting my friend KaiaPrincess's Legend run using Defense Deoxys, Double Steel, but the Shadow Edition. The steel types we're going to be using are going to be Shadow Steelix and Shadow Aaloan Sandslashs. Shadow Aaloan Sandslashs will be operating in the closer position with Steelix operating on the safe switch. KaiaPrincess has put a lot of thought process into the Steelix he has built, and here's why. The idea of the Steelix safe switch is obviously to draw out Alolan Sandslash's hardest counter, which most commonly is going to be pvpoke's #1 ranked pick Metachan. Shadow Steelix is able to reach both an attack break point and a defense bulk point, meaning Dragonair does 1 extra damage and counter does 1 less. So you're looking for a 97.5 attack and 184 defense. This means with a 1 Dragonair head start, you can win the 1 shield versus Metachan on its most common moveset of Counter, Ice Punch and Psychic. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1 we lead Defense Deoxys into the silly electric fish. Like all ABB teams, we are going to look to pivot at some stage, hopefully luring out any potential fighter. Probably Metachan, because let's not kid ourselves, every basic bitch runs Metachan. We make a very nice catch. Did we catch the Thunderbolt? What a catch. Due to Steelix's sub-ground typing that is double resisted, the opponent stays in. Look to chip and dip with the Surf, and we see Kaia invest his first Protect Shield. Steelix farms up, throws at good time, and it's really easy 3 turn into 2 turn. You just want to throw odd numbers Breaking Swipe, doesn't knock out, which is probably even better for us as we get 1 further Dragonair, giving us a running start. The opponent sends in Gligar. Gligar should be advantageous in this matchup, however we've got a running start. We fire off the Breaking Swipe, which is going to now allow us to survive a dig. Steelix, even as a Shadow, is really bulky. Dig does hit for super effective, it does leave us in the red, but the opponent can have a very tough time of looking to try and resisted wing attack farm us down. Steelix being a real menace, we land the next Breaking Swipe. The opponent is now double debuffed. They recognise they can't wing attack farm down and opt to throw the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace does secure the knockout. Kaia now sends in Alolan Sandslash, looking for the full Shadow Claw farm down. This is only an Aerial Ace, so the opponent must be super weak in the back. I've got no idea why he'd give us so much free energy. The opponent's got knocked out in the back, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Defense Deoxys into another Shadow Steelix user. Our counters are super effective, however Steelix does resist all moves. The opponent going to go straight for the debuff treatment. We see the instant no shield deployed, and imagine we pivot into the mirror. You can see Kaia spamming out the switch. We've actually got a 2 Dragonair head start, and the opponent sends out Metachan. This is what I was talking about in the intro. We're now actually doing 1 additional damage with each Dragonair, and the counters are going to be doing 1 less, and we've also debuffed them. You see Kaia looking to play out the 1 shield. We shield up with the Ice Punch. We've already got Metachan down below half health before we reach Breaking Swipe number 2. The opponent looks like they're not willing to shield. However, they are building up to a Dynamic Punch. Oof, moment of truth. Please no Dynamic Punch. The opponent throw the Psychic. Kaia withstands the damage, reaches the next Breaking Swipe. Is the opponent willing to invest that Protect Shield? No, they're not. And just like that, Steelix is a Metachan counter confirmed. Back out comes the opponent's Steelix. They get a very nice Dragonair farm down. Kaia not wanting to get Earthquake. Returns with Defense Deoxys. They fire off the Breaking Swipe, and we see their pivot into Alolan Sandslash. As this is Shadow and Shadow Crime, there's no need to full send a drill run. Ice Punch will get the job done. The opponent invests that Protect Shield, then fire off a Breaking Swipe. This isn't enough for an Earthquake. Kaia easily withstands the damage. Are we going to go straight for the next Ice Punch? Yes, we are. Is Steelix willing to invest 2 Protect Shields? No, they're not. They're saving 1 Protect Shield for Bastiodon, and I think it's just going to be G to the G. Both Drill Run and the counters from Defense Deoxys are going to be hitting for double super effective. Drill Run forces the Protect Shield. Switch timer pops up, we pivot back out into Defense Deoxys. Kaia going to invest his final Protect Shield here, and this stupid brick wall is about to get countered into oblivion. We fire off 1 counter and the Thunderbolt for optimal fast move timing. The Thunderbolt won't do a lot, but these counters, despite not getting same type attack bonus, going to tear this stupid brick wall to the ground. We reach the next Thunderbolt, getting the opponent incredibly low. We get the counter farm down, and we take that game. In the next battle, we lead Defense Deoxys into Shadow Swampert. This is sort of where the team wants to see it. However, those of you that played Weather Cup will know that Swampert actually needs to run Water Gun to beat Steelix in their 2 shield, which is absolutely ridiculous. The opponent farms to 8. Kai dares the opponent to throw the Earthquake. Of course they throw the Hydro Cannon, the super spammy Swampert. Already at the next Hydro Cannon, we see Kai invest that Protect Shield. You will notice he's farming up to maximum energy. That's because the debuff will mean our subsequential counters would do less damage. We fire off the first Psycho Boost, forcing a Protect Shield. We see the instant shield deployed. It looks like we're happy to play out the 2 shield. I imagine we're going to fire off one more Psycho Boost, either securing the knockout or taking the remaining shield, and then we should pivot into Steelix to see if they've got that Meti lurker in the back. Here comes Steelix. The opponent is going to throw the Hydro Cannon. Steelix does survive one, although my god does it hurt. However, Steelix withstands the damage, leaves with the Breaking Swipe, and the opponent sends in Dragonair. Dragonair not going to appreciate this Breaking Swipe. They're left down below half health. The opponent snipes with 2 Dragon Breaths, and this is going to be game over. It takes Dragonite 15 turns to the superpower, and it's only 10 to the Ice Punch, so we would outpace by 3 turns. Instead, we send back out Defense Deoxys. Psycho Boost doesn't do enough damage. We're going to get Dragon Breath farmed down, and unfortunately now, our Shadow Aaloan Sandslash is going to eat a double super effective superpower to the face, and unfortunately we take the loss. Shout out to that opponent running a very cool triple Shadow team. Moving on to the next battle. Another Shadow Dragonair in the lead. This is currently available in the leaders, so make sure you go grind one, as both Dragonair and Dragonite are playing the Great League. Dragonite is playing both Ultra League and Master League as well, so a very good Pokemon to go hunt. We go for the Psycho Boost and Dip, pivot out into Steelix once again, drawing out Metachan. Let's see if we're able to win the 1 shield. We fire off the Breaking Swipe goes unshielded. I imagine it's going to be Bastiodon in the back, and we'd really like switch. We do shield up, but oof, the opponent's on Power Up Punch. The opponent has returned though, counter damage to neutral. They're now 1 stage boosted. Steelix survives a Power Up Punch, returns fire with the Breaking Swipe, but Breaking Swipe just isn't going to be lethal from this range. The opponent does get the full counter farm down, and unfortunately we do lose alignment. However, my team read is correct, and it is Bastiodon on the back. We are still sitting in a very good spot. The opponent only throws the Power Up Punch. Defense Deoxys easily survives that back. Out comes Dragonair. We see the instant no shield deployed. I imagine again we're going to go for the Psycho Boost and Dip, looking to pressure the final shield of the opponent. We throw the Psycho Boost. The opponent does invest that protection. We pivot into Sandslash, and oh hello Wallface, and it's going to soon be goodbye fucking Wallface. Despite this Choron being double super effective, unfortunately it doesn't one-shot, but there is 0 win con left for the opponent, and they gracefully concede the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Defense Deoxys into Licky, far too thicky. This isn't a great matchup for Defense Deoxys, as unfortunately our HP stat isn't the best. All our bulk comes from our stamina, which means 1-turn moves are going to absolutely tear through us. Again, we go for the Psycho Boost and Dip, pivot into Steelix. It looks like the opponent going for the Chip and Dip, going to fire off the Power Whip. Steelix easily withstands the damage. The opponent then send out Meti. Again, this is where the team wants to see it, and the team is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, baiting out Metachan. Another point to note, if you did want to run this team, KaiaPrincess told me that he'd much rather run Powder Snow. He has rebuilt his Sandslash, but unfortunately, his Powder Snow Sandslash currently has Bulldoze, and we all know that is a terrible move. The opponent does commit to the full counter farm down, but where's this energy going? Into Defense Deoxys. The opponent throws the Ice Punch, and that absolutely tickles, especially after the debuff. It looks like Defense Deoxys is going to get a huge resisted counter farm down. Meti fires off the second Ice Punch. Can we counter farm down before the third? No, we can't, but it really doesn't matter. These Ice Punches were absolutely pitiful. Defense Deoxys does get the huge counter farm down, back out. Comes Licky, far too thick, and again we're firing off the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost goes unshielded. We pivot into Sandslash. The opponent pivots out into Gligar, and that's going to be all she wrote. And we're going to go a nice 4-1 in set number 1. We've actually got a full 3 sets for you today. And the reasons you want to run Powder Snow over Shadow Claw is mainly Licky, far too thicky, and Gligar, where the Powder Snow damage is really advantageous. Heading into the next set, we lead Defense Deoxys into Steelix. We've seen this play out before. The opponent actually this time pivot out into Golisopod. Golisopod is a huge core breaker for the team. It's got an advantageous matchup against all 3 of our Pokemon. We pivot out into Steelix. KaiaPrincess going to shield the first move, as it would do the most damage, as of course we're going to give the opponent that debuff treatment. You can see Golisopod in the Great League is super glassy. The opponent actually doesn't shield up the Breaking Swipe. We will be able to now survive this next liquidation. The question is, can we get the full Dragon Tail farm down? KaiaPrincess doesn't actually commit to it. He's just going to fire off the next Breaking Swipe. And as the opponent's solo, I imagine they just let it go, which they do. Back up comes the opposing Steelix, and they get a huge Dragon Tail farm down. You notice KaiaPrincess over farms, doesn't throw the Breaking Swipe, and that is such a high IQ play. He forces the energy of the opponent. They were scared we would have reached an Earthquake, which forced them to throw some energy. We send back out Defense Deoxys. The opponent's got Superior in the back, and so far we are playing absolutely top tier. It's become very apparent why KaiaPrincess did mention when he submitted these battles they would have much rather had Powder Snows. This is another matchup that would have been really advantageous. The opponent survives the Ice Punch. If it was on Powder Snow, I think that would have knocked out. The opponent fires off the Aerial Ace. We withstand the damage. Can we Shadow Claw farm down? In 5, we get the perfect farm down. Sonic says, feed me that Steelix. Back out it comes. We fire off the bait. The opponent crap their pants, shielding the bait, which is going to allow Sandslash to reach the Drill Run. Drill Run going to land for huge super effective damage. We then pivot out into Defense Deoxys, and one counter is going to be all she wrote. GG's and very well played. In the next battle, we see a shiny Charizard in the lead. Charizard could be a bit of a problem. The opponent pivots out into Swampert. It looks like KaiaPrincess is going to stay in and probably look to get off at least one Psycho Boost. We see the instant no shield deployed on the Hydro Cannon. We farm up, throw the Psycho Boost, losing CMP. KaiaPrincess invests his first Protect Shield. Charizard is so glassy in the Great League. A lot of people that do run it tend to say 2 shields for it. It looks like this opponent also a fan of 2 shielding Charizard. So they don't shield up the Psycho Boost. We get the counter farm down. We pivot back out into Steelix. Steelix is going to be able to outpace Charizard to the Breaking Swipe before they potentially nuke us with the Blast Burn. Breaking Swipe does force a protection. The opponent banks all the energy and send out the Quagman. This is Shadow and Shadow Crime, but you're about to see Steelix's bulk. We will survive the Mud Bomb, but if I'm being honest, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, as the opponent is about to get a huge Mud Shot farm down. KaiaPrincess running double Steel, and the opponent is running double Mud Boys. We're going to have to pull off some magic to win this game. Come on, Kaia, let's see what you're cooking up. We did bank the Psycho Boost, but of course we're going to lose CMP. The clue's kind of in this Pokemon's name. Defense Deoxys were incredibly defense weighted. We survived the Mud Bomb. Return Fire with the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost likely will go unshielded. Can Deoxys make one further Psycho Boost? Yes, we can. This is 2 stage lowered. We need the opponent to shield, please. Oof, the opponent doesn't shield. We send out Sandslash, but unfortunately we're about to get cooked. Kaia shields the first Blast Burn, but the opponent is at the back-to-back. So Sandslash is about to get absolutely obliterated. GG's and very well played to that opponent. Defense Deoxys will die to 1 wing attack. Charizard with shields and energy is just incredibly lethal, despite being very glassy. In the next battle, we see Umbreon in the lead. Our counters are super effective. This definitely is not a good matchup, but stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We catch the foul play onto Steelix, where it isn't going to do all that much damage, as these Pokemon are both very bulky. The opponent answers our Steelix safe switch with a Azumarill. Definitely not a good matchup, as our Dragon's Hours are double resisted. An Earthquake, despite getting same type attack bonus, is not going to do too much damage to the mighty blue mouse. There is 0 point in shielding this up, as we definitely are not going to be able to win this matchup. The opponent full send a Hydro Pump, huge overkill, but that does suggest they've probably got player off Hydro Pump, no Ice Beam. So Defense Deoxys, after landing this Thunderbolt, might be able to counter farm down. It's going to be close. Defense Deoxys looking for the counter farm down, and we get it. Now that DD has a huge energy in this Umbreon, this isn't actually a bad matchup. You're going to see one foul play, isn't going to do anywhere near enough damage and keeps out of Snarl farm down range. We then throw one counter and the Thunderbolt for optimal fast move timing. We then see the pivot into Sandslash. The opponent's final Pokemon is Venusaur. It looks like they're lagging, as well as in a very poor matchup. We take the initiative first, firing off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch forces the first Protect Shield, and the opponent then concedes the match. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the Defense Deoxys mirror. We know KaiaPrincess is going to look to pivot at some stage. However, at higher elo, it's not as simple as counting to 8 and spamming the switch, as people don't always throw out the most predictable timing. However, as I said that, the opponent did spam the charge move as soon as they get it. I think humans are creatures of habit, so I imagine the opponent's going to spam the next Thunderbolt as soon as they get that as well. We tank the first Thunderbolt, return fire with our own Thunderbolt. We then look to make the catch, and there it is, a very nice double resisted catch of the Thunderbolt, wasting all of Defense Deoxys' energy. We do manage to draw out Obstagoon, which you'd think would be good, as Sandslash obviously doesn't want to see that. But if you've got a counter user in the lead, a counter user on the switch is almost certainly going to be Vigoroth in the back, and Alolan Sandslash is going to have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and I think we're going to get absolutely clapped. Alolan Sandslash wouldn't have a good matchup against counter user at the best of times, but Obstagoon, due to their dark normal type, is going to triple resist our Legacy Shadow Claw, and if it's Vigoroth in the back, that is going to be double resisted. You can see we're having a nice little Mexican standoff here, trying to call off the switch timer. Switch timer pops up. The opponent snipes as we send back out Defense Deoxys. KaiaPrincess shields his DD, recognising it's going to have to do a whole heap of work. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, send back out their own Deoxys. We fire off the Thunderbolt. The opponent only going to reach a Psycho Boost, so stay in school, kids, learn to count. This is resisted, but I think Sandslash is in huge trouble. Show me anything but Vigoroth, please. I'm praying to the Poke gods. Oof. Of course it's Vigoroth, a very, very common team comp. We fire off the Duron, the opponent's likely going to shield. Which they do, they then get the full counter farm down. DD will make the Thunderbolt, but Defense Deoxys hits like a wet noodle. This isn't going to do enough damage. The opponent now farming up to the back-to-back body slams. KaiaPrincess can shield the first, but the second is most certainly going to knock out. To be honest, no matter what team you build, you're always going to be weak to something. I don't think triple counter is all that common this season, so it is what it is. Moving on to the next one. Defense Deoxys into Dragonair. We've seen KaiaPrincess normally goes for the Psycho Boost and dip. To my surprise, he actually instantly pivots into Steelix, drawing out a Azumarill. This hopefully means that there's no counter user on the back, as if they had a counter user, they'd likely bring it out here. The opponent fires off the Ice Beam, we easily withstand the damage. We're going to return fire with the Earthquake, going to get Azumarill down to around the half health. Azumarill now going to get a huge bubble farm down. KaiaPrincess opting not to commit to the next Earthquake, just going to throw the Breaking Swipe, lowering Azumarill's attack. I'm not sure if I agree with that play. We could have reached one further Earthquake. I don't think it was lethal. Perhaps it is the best play, because that now means that these moves coming from Azumarill are going to do less damage. My god, that play rough did pathetic damage. The opponent give up switch, sending back out Dragonair, and here comes Sandslash. The opponent can only hit us with non-stab Aqua Tails. The Dragon Refs are resisted, but you can see Shadow Aaloan Sandslashs take so much damage from absolutely any quick move. We fire off the Ice Punch. The opponent choose to invest the Protect Shield. KaiaPrincess going to invest the Protect Shield back, much like Dragonite. It's going to take 35 energy or 6 Shadow Claws / 12 Dragon Breaths to their cheapest charges, so Sandslash is going to be able to outpace. The next Ice Punch does go unshielded and the opponent's final Pokemon is revealed to be Dewgong. We farm up, throw the Drillron going to land for decent neutral damage, getting Dewgong down below half health. Switch timer pops up, KaiaPrincess pivots out, preventing any free farm. Dewgong throws the Icy Wind. Defense Deoxys easily withstands the damage and we're returning fire with the Thunderbolt. Does the opponent invest a final Protect Shield here? No, they don't. They're putting all their hopes and dreams on the back of Azumarill. We also have a Protect Shield remaining as well. KaiaPrincess invests his final Protect Shield on the Ice Beam. I think we just got to farm up to the back-to-back Psycho Boost. The opponent's so low, they're going to be forced to shield this up. DD is going to be able to outpace Azumarill to the next charge move. We actually don't opt to throw. Instead, Azumarill takes the initiative, throws the Ice Beam, and this is going to get close. Sandslash on a sliver of HP comes in, reaches the Ice Punch, and we take an incredibly close game. GG's to both trainers. And that is going to draw to a close today's second set. We started today at 28-64, went 4-1 in the first set, and looks like we went 3-2 in set number 2. We're now knocking on the door of Legend. I see so many players get to the 2900s and choke. KaiaPrincess, a multi-time legend. Let's see how he clutches up this season's legend run. In the next battle, we'll lead Defense Deoxys into Lanturn. A pretty neutral lead. We know Kai is going to pivot at some stage. Last time we saw a Lanturn lead, we made a very nice catch and the double resisted Thunderbolt onto Steelix. Let's see if we're 2 for 2 on Thunderbolt catches. We farm up. Do we go for the catch? We attempt the catch. It wasn't the cleanest. Is this a Thunderbolt or did they see it coming in? Let's go. What a beautiful catch. Our Steelix save switch is met with Gligar. You know the drill by now. You haven't only seen it many times in this video, but you've probably seen it in most of your own battles. Steelix users just spam that debuff treatment. KaiaPrincess actually choosing to invest the Protect Shield, recognising the opponent unlikely to throw a resisted charge move, especially after being debuffed. We correctly shield up the dig, return fire with the Breaking Swipe, and the opponent also invests the Protect Shield back. We have now lowered this opponent's attack by 2 stages, so he should survive the dig. Holy crap, the opponent throws the Aerial Ace. Definitely not the play. KaiaPrincess easily tanks that. We return fire with the Breaking Swipe. The opponent pivot out into Lanturn, and we answer with Defense Deoxys. Defense Deoxys doesn't need to shield up the serve. We've already hit the Psycho Boost. KaiaPrincess not going for an undercharge, just looking to knock out this fish. It actually isn't lethal. One more counter does get the job done. The opponent's final Pokemon is Lickitung, far too thicky. Defense Deoxys still not done. Going to fire off one final Psycho Boost. Again, KaiaPrincess wishing this game dropped more TMs. I remember back in the day we used to discard them because we got them so commonly, and now they're like fucking hen's teeth. On powder, so this is such a dominant matchup. You're actually able to win the 0-1 shield against Lickitung, far too thicky. However, using double resisted Shadow Claw, you're in for a rough time. The opponent fires off the Power Whip, but already below half health. This is just a body slam. We see the instant no shield deployed. KaiaPrincess is going for the double Ice Punch. We've got to be mindful the opponent has got Gligar as a potential catch. The opponent doesn't make the catch. This Ice Punch is going to land. Is it enough to knock out? No, it's not. We then look to snipe with Steelix. The opponent send back out Gligar. I've got no idea why we're not shielding, as the opponent's only going to reach one move. I would have just shielded, committed to the Dragon Tail farm down. However, we're putting it all on Sandslash. Sandslash manages to farm down and the opponent concedes the match. Moving on to the next one. Holy spice, Scolipede, one of my favourite Pokemon. Look at this giant centipede, it looks very cool. I'm not entirely sure what its role is in this meta. The opponent evidently looking to have some fun. We fire off the Psycho Boost, forcing a Protect Shield, we then pivot out into Steelix, drawing out Alolan Sandslash. The opponent throws on alignment, giving us a full free Dragon Tail. They full send the drill on, we withstand the damage. KaiaPrincess also throws on alignment, but there's no baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not, get absolutely wrecked. Alolan Sandslash gets vanquished back to their Pokeball. The opponent's final Pokemon is Charjabug. ABA Bug, what an interesting team. The Volt Switches are double resisted, so the opponent fires off the Crunch, not wanting to get debuffed. We can kind of come into either Pokemon. I imagine we come back into Defense Deoxys, as Sandslash is going to be the key to victory. We do send out DD, we go straight for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost goes unshielded, we then pivot out into Sandslash. We've seen the opponent's got Crunch. I still wouldn't shield the first one in case the opponent gets the defense drop. Speaking of which, of course they get the defense drop. Sandslash farms up, fires off the Ice Punch. The opponent of course shields as Scolipede can only hit Sandslash 4 resisted. We're choosing to tank this next Crunch, and ouch, that hurt with a lowered defense. It lands for huge damage. The opponent then sends back out Scolipede, going for their own wham bam combo play. We just sack Sandslash, send back out Defense Deoxys. Bug is going to be hitting us for super effective, but likewise, our Psycho Boost coverage is going to hit them for super effective. We shield up the X as a return fire with the Psycho Boost. Scolipede, sorry buddy, as much as I like you, get wrecked trainer, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. We see Defense Deoxys into yet another Lanturn. Come on KaiaPrincess, show me 3 for 3 on double resisted Thunderbolt catches. Both trainers farm up. This time the opponent throws the Thunderbolt or Surf Bait. As soon as they get it, the opponent is not baiting, they fire off the Thunderbolt. Defense Deoxys says thank you very much and have a Thunderbolt in return. We get the silly electric fish below half health and we pivot out into Steelix. Steelix can tank a Surf. To be honest, Lanturn doesn't hit particularly hard, a pretty defense weighted Pokemon, or something I like to call a wet noodle. The opponent is staying in, so we go for a very nice overfarm before throwing off the break and swap to secure the knockout. The opponent gonna now send in their own Shadow Aaloan Sandslashs. KaiaPrincess not baiting, full send of the Earthquake. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not, get absolutely wrecked. KaiaPrincess lands that huge boom through 2 shields, and that is exactly what you want to see when you're on the cusp of legend. We even reached a break and swipe against this Gligar. The opponent does get a huge wing attack farm down. We send in Defense Deoxys to force the energy off the opponent. After tanking this, I imagine we instantly pivot, trying to prevent the opponent getting any more energy as they got a huge wing attack farm down. We stay in, force yet further energy off Gligar. We send in Sandslash, we just shield whatever the opponent throws, and we'll be one game closer to legend. We see the instant no shield. I'll be honest, I wasn't counting, so perhaps they were dry. When they throw on Defense Deoxys, evidently they weren't. Holy crap, Kaia. As they're only 3 wing attacks away from the next aerial ace. So when we actually 2 shield flexed, or clicked no shield, when we had 2 shields, they actually had enough for a dig. Okay, that was crazy. Moving on to the next one. Come on, Kaia, let's just play nice and steady and get across the line, because that last game gave me anxiety. DD Charjabug, 2 better response in the back. We go to our usual save switch of Steelix. The opponent stays in, throws the X scissor, and the opponent is continuing to stay in. This time it's the opponent that makes a nice catch, catching the breaking swipe onto Mandibuzz. One of my favourite slogans is no baits on this channel, but if Kaia would have full sent the Earthquake and the opponent would have caught it on Mandibuzz, that would have been so sad for us. Luckily Kaia was masturbating, and we're just going to permanently debuff this Vulture's non-existent attack into oblivion. Mandibuzz is going to have a tough time of getting rid of Steelix. You can see these Dark Pulses are not doing anywhere near enough damage. The opponent already at the next one, but it's going to be an easy tank for our super bulky Steel Snake. The opponent reset their debuff as the switch timer has popped up. Go for the wham bam combo play, fire off the X scissor, knocking out our annoying Steel Snake. We can now realign, send in Sandslash. Sandslash is going to be able to outpace to the Ice Punch. Both trainers have 2 shields apiece. Does the opponent finally invest one here? Yes, they do. KaiaPrincess this time makes his own catch, catching what should be a discharge onto DD. No, the opponent bait with an X scissor. Charjabug already at the next X scissor. KaiaPrincess calling defense Deoxys will survive. We survive 1 HP and a dream. We're only 1 counter away from the Psycho Boost, so we're able to get it off before the Volt Switch registers. Psycho Boost does secure the knockout and the opponent concede the match. GG's. Moving on to the next battle, another gatekeeping legend. We see the Mirror, the opponent running Shiny variant. Shinies do more damage. Not really, I'm just kidding. We've seen how Kaia plays this one out. He normally tanks one charge move, fires off one himself, and then looks to catch the next one onto Steelix. The opponent fires off the Thunderbolt. Instead, they actually pivot out into Licky, far too thicky. We fire off the Psycho Boost, and as we run in Shadow Claw, we're going to answer this with Steelix. Of course, Licky can't throw Body Slam spam, so they're going to be forced to go for Power Whips, which means Steelix is going to outpace to the Breaking Swipe, giving Licky far too thicky that annoying debuff treatment. I think there's zero reason for the opponent to bait, which they don't, and look at that. The Power Whip, which hits for neutral, did absolutely nothing. Kaia recognising he can even tank another one, and it looks like he's going for the aggressive Dragon Tail farm down as Steelix leaves with almost 100 energy. Back out comes Defense Deoxys, and it's time to debuff the non-existent attack even lower. They probably started on around 3. They're now on about -3, and they're now going to be on -9. The opponent does get the full counter farm down. We send back at our own Deoxys. The opponent's got Carbink, aka Stinky Bink in the back, and in the 2 shields, this isn't the worst matchup for him. The main thing to be aware of here is the switch timer. So switch timer takes 60 seconds or 1 minute. As we simul swap, as soon as our switch timer pops up, the opponent's will have also popped up. We're just going to play out the 2 shield. You can see these rock throws are getting us quite low, so the opponent has got potential to snipe us with a counter. We throw the next drill run on the CMP tie. Of course, we're going to have to match shields. So like I said, if our switch timer hasn't popped up, when we get the drill, we need to throw it. Kaia over farms, the opponent's switch timer pops up. They make a very nice catch the drill run onto Defense Deoxys. That counter doesn't take us out. We pivot back out into Deoxys to catch the Psycho Boost. Holy cow, this is going to get close. Back out comes Stinky Binky. Does Defense Deoxys have enough in the tank to carry us across the line? We fire off the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt doesn't do too much damage. We then fire off the Psycho Boost on the CMP tie. Is Psycho Boost lethal? No, it's not. I'm unsure how much health left on Sandslash. This might be a tie. The opponent actually no-bobbles the Rock Slide, and we managed to counter farm down and take that game. Thank you very much to that opponent. And KaiaPrincess manages to clutch up the perfect 5-0 to close out Season 16. Huge congratulations, buddy. Very well deserved. I've got to say, I've shoutcast KaiaPrincess a few times in the past, and every time I shoutcast him, you can see massive improvements on his gameplay. The Great League does come to a finish today. However, we have got all 3 leagues available, so if you're still looking to reach your goal in the final week of the season, perhaps give this a try for yourself. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.